Hey everybody, Quantum here, and we are going to be commentating live over the finals of the DLC in Melbourne, Australia. I didn't even know this was happening prior to getting a notification from Disney Lorcana. Oh, there he goes shuffling Clement's deck. Hopefully I'm saying his name correctly. Revealing a Grammatala, but it is open deck list. They were actually reviewing the deck lists ahead of this shuffle up or this pass over. We do have a Ruby Sapphire finals. The semifinals saw Dinh go up against, I think, the last remaining Australian player in the top four, which was Ben Simmons playing Amber Steel. It was a pretty rough match for Ben when Dinh was first seed, so he had option of being on the play, but it was a 2-1. And then Clement, I believe, 2-0'd in the non-streamed match. Jonathan Lamb Chops, who I think is the only North American player that made it into top four, because I think Dinh and Clement are both Europeans. I could be wrong there, but Jonathan Lamb was playing Sapphire Steel, and the Ruby Sapphire ended up coming out on top in that one as well. What's interesting is Dinh and Clement were both first and second seed respectively in the Swiss rounds. So they have both made it to the finals, which is very interesting. I kind of feel a little bad for the Australians because, as I understand it, they haven't had the game as long as we have. So, with no official online client, they haven't had the time to practice and get their level of play up to where Europe and North America is. But here we go. Anyways, with the first action of the game going to Dinh, inking that DLC promo, Let It Go, and playing a Develop Your Brain. Dinh on a very spicy list of Ruby Sapphire. Basically, it's Maui Shark Turbo, from what I've gathered. I haven't watched very much of this DLC, unfortunately, but I have seen a couple of Dinh's matches, like one or two, and I believe that's what he's playing from what I've gathered. So I won't have the perfect calls in this game because again, we're gonna see how the deck really plays out. But I mean, Dinh shouldn't be too unhappy. He's got two scry cards into a popsicle, unless he's putting cards he wants at the bottom of the deck. But we see Clement on a more traditional build from the hand we see there of Ruby Sapphire. He's got the Tamatoa, which is inking, and then he's going to get the turn 2 ramp in Tipo. So I think, even though Dinh's turns weren't too bad, he does miss that turn 2 ramp, which is really where you want to be with any Sapphire build. I mean, you've seen basically every iteration of Sapphire, except for maybe Emerald Sapphire, become very meta viable. Well, I guess you could say Amber Sapphire as well. But you have even I guess Blurple is now a thing. Obviously, Ruby Sapphire, Sapphire Steel is made it to the top four of this tournament, for example. They're all very much viable decks because of the turn 2 ramp that you have here. And even Amber Sapphire as an aggro build can be pretty good. So here, Dinh does catch up. But I believe he played a sail and then double inked, and Clement just double checked what he was inking there. It's going to be interesting because I think the traditional build of Ruby Sapphire would be stronger than Dinh's version that focuses more on the burn aspect with Maui Shark. Getting a lot of cheap efficient actions with a couple of Maui Sharks on board, using McDuck Manors, things like that. The how far all goes, generating card advantage while gaining lore. Develop Your Brain turns into gain 1-2 lore. It's pretty nice. But the grind game of Clement's deck being more traditional might be just more explosive, if he is playing like Lucky Dime, Tamatoas, etc. Because I don't believe Dinh is on as much removal as traditional Ruby Sapphire has been on. We see double Popsicle here, which is going to be pretty strong, obviously for that card advantage. Much more cards in hand for Clement, especially since he went second and got that extra card as well. Dinh hasn't really seen any card advantage engine, which is really just going to be Hiram, scrying for cards. You will see your items and your Hiram. But Dinh might only be on Popsicles. Because Ice Block Sisus don't really seem to fit this list. I mean, I'm assuming we'll get deck list reveal at some point, but right now, as this is live, I don't think they're available to the public. At least I haven't seen them. Pirate's Life and Develop Your Brain. Oh, so it looks like Ruby Sapphire players migrating back to Develop, which again, with Maui Shark makes sense. Are they running similar lists? I don't know. We've seen Super Goof get inked by Dinh. Again, another very efficient burn card. I've talked about this before on my channel. Just that non-questing source of lore being so powerful. Not fearing the Maui Hero to All, which again is a card that Dinh is playing, just questing with everything. Oh, just maybe getting a judge check or something there. We play a Maui Shark for Dinh and pass turn, Where are all the Ruby Amethyst players to stop these Ruby Sapphire players, man? Come on. Did Ed not teach you guys anything from the North American DLC? No, I'm kidding. I didn't. I don't think. Well, I haven't watched a lot, but I don't think there was very many Ruby Amethyst from what I saw. Okay, we see a Sail the Azurite Sea come through. Clement still on. Why is he? I'm not sure why he's putting that off to the side, but whatever. Still on. Oh, I think he's putting that there to note that he has the extra ink for turn. I don't even remember what I was saying, but he's keeping up with the lore, with the ink. Obviously, he's got a lot of cards in hand. Din probably running a little bit lower on resources, and this is where I think we might see, Tamatoas and stuff, which I haven't seen from Din, come out ahead in this matchup. But again, we'll see. Instead of questing with the Hiram, he opts to play another one to not play into the Shark. Did he reveal a Lucky Dime and a Hiram off of that develop? If so, I assume he took the Lucky Dime. Although he may have put it at the bottom. Double Shark comes through, and now we will see if Din has the actions to follow up. Of course, this does seem very risky, right? Going into another Ruby deck, putting two of your, I guess you would say, main engine pieces for your deck and two Maui Sharks on board. Because if a Be Prepared comes through, which I'm assuming Din is like kind of unlikely because you got two of your Hirams on the board, which is also a critical part of your engine. They play the same deck. They still function more or less very similarly, even though they might have different top end strategies. Din's thinking here on the how far I'll go. I wonder if the Be Prepared will come through to stop the Sharks. You got to remember that Be Prepared is also a tempo loss. I mean, I'm assuming Clement has it in hand, but we shall see. Oh, there's a Lucky Dime off the top. And did he take a Lucky Dime off of that Scry? I think he may have. I think it's the last card in his hand. I mean, Double Dime in this matchup can definitely win it for you, right? Because while Din's deck seems to function on my Sharks gaining me advantage, Clement can just load up on items and or big Sisus and just start diming them, right? I don't even need to quest it. I'm pretty sure he has double dime in hand. And now that he's on 9 ink, he can play the dime and trigger it in the same turn next turn. The double mana comes into the Pirate's Life. And here we see the effectiveness. Ooh, double Pirate's Life. That's gain 8. Reduce the opposing player down to 0. So Din will go up to 11, I believe, if the lore totals are correct. And then he will gain another 4 off those manners, which, unless Clement is playing Vitalosphere and has one, what's on board right now, or he has Scar as well. Din has 1 card left in his hand, but he is racing. But he can't possibly deal with everything on the board. And so, again, this is like Ed's strategy from the North American Championship, that 2-pronged attack with the libraries and the characters. This is also very effective because the Maui Shark is just a very hard card to interact with. So Din's hand was, for a mulligan 7, which I believe he did at the start, it turned out decently well. And yeah, it is double Lucky Dime in the hand for Clement here. Really teching against those Ruby Amethyst decks. It was crazy, right? How the meta just kind of evolves in a triangle. We started with Lucky Dimes. They were cut for all the Ruby Sapphire players, and then they were, introduced back into the deck kind of after NA champs. To be fair, some players were there's still a lot of players on Lucky Dimes, but all right, we are seeing 2 damage, singing a Be Prepared, and then probably coming in with a Scar. So this is a good cleanup turn because Din is only on 1 card despite all of that aggressive gain. I imagine that Clement is also on Pirate's Lives, so yeah, he definitely deploys the Scar here. You don't let him go to 15. And then you have a 2 quester on board for follow-up, and Din has 1 card in hand. So you're not feeling too bad. Inca Brawl, not fearing the Hiram, or at least don't need a Brawl to answer the Hiram. He has his own Shark in hand as well. So he's probably just thinking through his turn, right? So no no harm as these are untimed finals, and it looked like these players were quite friendly with each other, so I don't think they're going to be too stressed about the situation or each other's interactions. Yep, 7 comes in with the Scar, and I wonder. Yeah, Scar. Oh no, Scar is 6. Yeah, not 7. What am I saying? Okay, of course. And McDuck Manor is 9 willpower. So Din does go to 15. And he does have the Huron, but Clement does have the second brawl. Ooh, seeing all of his popsicles. Now he has 3 cards in hand from the 1 to 3. Well, draw for turn, obviously, right? Develops the Huron. Moving Huron to the McDuck Manor. Cool. Just chilling in the manor there. But now the Tipo can take out the last manor. I don't know if Clement is on Maui's. But this second manor will put Din up to 17. And these Lucky Dimes are kind of just dead cards now at this point. Well, for some reason I thought Scar was 7 strength. That was really weird. We see, yep, the Brawl come through for the Huron. The Scar deals 7 to the Manor. And, you know, didn't claw back his hand a bit. I mean, that Huron top deck really helped. He doesn't need the Huron to stick around, which is a really nice way to build Ruby Sapphire, right? He has so many scry cards. He's just like, I'm going to find my answers. He knows how to pilot his deck. He's saying, you know, look what he did. He went up to 15 in this. Oh, and a Be Prepared comes in. And that probably seals it. Because he needs another rush character in order to take out this McDuck Manor. The Dragon is not going to do it. Din is going to go up to 19. And then all he needs is any recursion for that Pirate's Life, or just draw another one, or have a shark with any action and wins the game. The power of being on the play. And it's scary, right? Every time he plays one of these scry cards, it's just like, yeah, he's just going to find his answer. There's the second mana, and that's going to do it. On to game 2. This is the best of 3, though. So there's no way that Clement has, with what's in his hand there, there's absolutely zero chance he can deal with this entire board. So, I mean, I guess he could find a hideaway, but then he can't deal with the Grammatala. So, if he's on hideaway, even, he can't even afford to sing the How Far I'll Go with the Maui Shark, because he needs the shark to take out the manor. Yeah, so that was a game 1. Oh, we have the Pirate's Life coming up next anyways for the 3rd copy. And you see Din take game number 1. Let's move on to game number 2.